Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast with your host, Funk Roberts.
We are live, and welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast. This is episode number 149, and I'm your host, Funk Roberts, former professional athlete, turned master metabolic trainer, certified hormone and testosterone expert, and a health and fitness guru for men over 40, 50, 60, 70, and beyond. And as I mentioned before, I'm your host today. And on this podcast, which is specifically for you, the man over 40, we talk about how to naturally increase your testosterone levels. We talk about mindset strategies, workouts, nutrition, recovery, sleep, supplementation, and health issues. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about prostate cancer, prostate health, understanding prostate health, and the best foods that you should be including in your overall health and diet plan to ensure that you battle against prostate cancer and have a healthy prostate as you age. And, you know, this specific episode is actually coming from a coaching call. Inside my Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood, I have a program called the Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood, Over 40 Alpha Program, which is a program specifically for you guys, men over 40. You can go to over40alpha.com, and for $1, you can have a 30-day trial. That's a complete phase number 1, where we implement all of these things that I'm talking about. You know, you get follow-along workouts, nutrition, sleep and recovery strategies, recovery routines, mindset, a lot of mindset strategies. And one of the things that we do every single week, Friday, 9 a.m. inside the Brotherhood, is we have coaching calls, live coaching calls. And sometimes I like to take those live coaching calls and create podcasts out of them because of the information, the rich information that comes out of that, the feedback that comes from the guys who, are on there live watching and being part of the coaching call, or the replays. I know that there are specific ones that really get a lot of positive feedback and help other people. And so those are the ones that I like to turn into podcast episodes. So today we are going to discuss the importance of PSA testing. Actually, there's another reason too. There's two reasons, but let me just summarize quickly what you're going to learn today, because, you know, the state of men getting prostate cancer is rising rapidly. And it's very crucial for us to get early detection of our prostate health, monitoring our prostate health, getting early detection of prostate cancer, because there are ways to reverse it depending on where you're at in your prostate levels. And so at the time of recording the coaching call, I had just got my prostate levels returned. I got the score, the levels, I got everything, my results back from the doctor. And so you're going to see why I felt that it was important to talk about this. So that's number 1. Number 2 is we have a prostate cancer program, Prostate Power. Myself and Clark Bartram, who is a fitness icon. He's been on the podcast before. He's also battling prostate cancer. And when you see him and you know of Clark Bartram, you know, on the covers of pretty much every single fitness magazine ever, used to have the ESPN show that I used to watch back in high school, him on the beach training. And he's just become a very amazingly close friend. And together, we've put together a prostate cancer program called Prostate Power, which you can get over40shred.com/prostate power. That's over40shred.com/prostate power. It's all one word. The prostate power is all one word. And we found that, you know, putting together a 90-day program, a protocol that I can include my follow-along workouts to ensure that you're training. We are including a nutrition system specifically for men with prostate, depending on what levels you're at, right? Prostate issues, right? Because there's different levels, which you're going to learn today. But having Clark as your coach, as your mentor, as someone who has been going through this for almost probably a year by the time this gets, it's definitely been a year. He's done the rounds on all the podcasts. He's been on this podcast to talk about that. And so there wasn't a better person that I could partner with who is going through this and knows that, 95% of men who get prostate cancer results, they react and they move too quickly, and 5% move too slow. So imagine that's 100% of men either moving too quickly or moving too slow. And that can be disastrous for your recovery and for the decisions you make that will affect you for the rest of your life. So this 90-day program with Clark is going to not only give you the tools to stay healthy during your prostate issue recovery, but it's also going to ensure that you go through these 5 steps, these 5 levels, to ensure that after the 90 days, you make the right decision, right? You're not jumping too quickly, but you're definitely not moving slowly. So I thought it would be very important to discuss the importance of PSA, the importance of PSA testing, which is prostate-specific antigen. This is my Alpha Zone test kit. This is my men's complete hormone health test kit, which has total testosterone, estradiol, cortisol, sex hormone binding globulin, total prostate-specific antigen test, and a free testosterone. So when you grab this at over40shred.com/complete-hormone-PSA, you're going to be able to take these tests at home. It's very, very easy with my Alpha Zone test kit. I've partnered with My Labs Direct. You probably can't see this if you're listening to this, but I partner with My Labs Direct. I'm going to give you that URL again. So if you get your papers out, get your pen out, and I'm going to go over40shred.com, and then it's /complete-hormone-PSA. Go to that page if you live in the U.S. and order that kit. There's a discount code as well. And so, the importance of PSA testing and prostate health, I'm going to share through my experiences and my insight on learning about more and more as I delve into the Prostate Power Program and learning more about prostate health. And of course, you are going to see what my score was. I wanted to ensure that in this episode, we're going to talk about, why early detection is important, why regular testing needs to be part of your, health biomarkers, your health testing that you get on a regular basis, the specific foods that whether you, have prostate issues or you don't have prostate issues at all, you still want to negate those by eating the right foods, including making sure that these specific foods that I'm going to share with you on this episode are in your diet, in your nutrition lifestyle. And then we're going to talk about the different PSA levels, because I want you to understand when you get tested and your prostate levels are here, then these are the associated risks that go on with that. So again, I love this, speaking about men's health in this way, because we don't have the information. We're just getting it from a doctor who specialty is not prostate health. Specialty is just being a general practitioner who is just there to diagnose and prescribe you something, and may not be prescribing you the right things or sending you to the right person. Knowledge is power, and this episode is going to give you more knowledge so that you have more power to make the right decisions and also take control of your overall health and health monitoring. So with that, I'm really excited. Again, if you want to jump the gun and get our Prostate Power 90-day program, you're going to get coached by the icon Clark Bartram. You're going to get Funk's follow-along workouts and abs and everything you need to stay in shape. You're going to get the proper nutrition for prostate health. go to over40shred.com // prostate power, all one word, and grab our program. And with that, enjoy the podcast. All right, guys. So welcome. So basically, the other day I went to the doctor and got my prostate blood work done, and there were a few reasons why I did this. Number one, so I got my screening done. And there was a few reasons. Number one, my grandfather died from prostate cancer. I didn't actually, my mother just told me that. My mother told me that, I think, earlier in the week. So that wasn't even my number one reason at the time, but my grandfather died from prostate cancer at 82 years old. My father had an enlarged prostate. I was peeing at night. So for the last 10 years, or, I say 10 years, maybe it's 7 years. I don't know the exact date, but it's been a very long time where I would get up literally 3 or 4 times a night and go pee, right? So I get up, go pee, go back to sleep. Easy for me to get back to sleep, but at least 2 or 3 times in the night, I'll get up and go pee. That's not even a question. And at first I thought because I drank a lot of water, right? Because I do drink a ton of water. So I just chalked it up to that. But then, of course, my good friend Clark Bartram, who, if you've seen that podcast episode, he has prostate cancer. And Clark Bartram is like a fitness icon. If you follow him right now, I suggest you guys follow him. He's got a lot of great information, and we are partnering on a prostate program. That's the other reason why we're partnering on a prostate program, 90-day prostate power, or whatever it's going to be called, to help men who have got a test back and have seen some abnormality in their prostate, whether it's an enlarged prostate, whether they're on, which we'll talk about, there's different levels that you can be from the screening, or whether they have prostate cancer, and what are the next steps? Like, what are the things that men should be doing? Because sometimes men do go too fast, right? 95% of the guys, they just react too fast and they start to make the wrong decisions because, of course, when you are diagnosed with cancer, whatever level it's at, you get freaked out, right? This is now we're at life or death, right? So most men will just, because not many people know what to do when you get to a situation where you have prostate cancer, cancer in general, but prostate cancer, right? So Clark has kind of like a 5-phase thing to do to ensure that you are not making really vast, quick decisions that you haven't been able to think out, and maybe a lot of other people are going to be part of those decisions, right? Maybe those are not your decisions. If you just think about if you had some type of a prostate, if your prostate is unhealthy, or you get cancer, or just enlarged prostate, that's not only going to freak you out, but it's going to freak your family out, right? Your wife, your parents, if your parents are still here, your kids, your loved ones are going to be freaked out because not many people know about prostate cancer. They just hear the cancer word, or they hear, oh my God, it's enlarged, and then they just, they relate the prostate enlargement to prostate cancer. And so the decisions that are often made are not made by the person who has the cancer, made by the doctor, like the family doctor. And, sometimes they just push you in different directions, and the family's going to make the decisions. Of course, your wife's probably going to make some big decisions. And in the end, you're not making the decisions for you because you don't have the right information, right? And so that's why we're doing that. And then 5% of people, so I said 95% of people, guys, go too fast. The decisions that they make are just way too quick. 5%, they're too slow. So just think about that. I just said 95% of the people their decisions are too quick, and 5% are too slow, which means there is no middle. There's no ground where, okay, how do I navigate through these things? So we're creating a program where, I will obviously create the workouts and the nutrition portion of it, because the nutrition is a lot different than like the alpha nutrition. If you have prostate cancer at whatever level it is, it's a different type of nutrition and a different type of focus. And then Clark will take us or take you through the 5 phases in a succinct way over 90 days so that your mind's a little bit more clear, you have the right information, and you can make the right decision on where you want to go. Or if it's just an enlarged prostate or what have you, you can reverse it, which my father did as well. So that is why I got all of those reasons. But the big one was when my mother told me my grandfather died from prostate cancer, and I'm peeing on every night, right? Because that's one of the things. There's a lot of other things, but that is one of the key symptoms, and one that has been in my life for many years, right? And that's the other thing too. It usually gets undetected because guys don't get their PSA checked. And then the last reason why I got this done, and I'm going to read this out to you, is because I was sent this article from WebMD and Clark and a couple other people actually sent me this article all at one time. And I'm going to read this to you, okay? It says, prostate cancer tsunami coming. Experts caution. So I'm just going to read this out. So bear with me here. An inevitable global surge in prostate cancer is coming, with a worldwide doubling of cases to 2.9 million and an 85% increase in deaths to nearly 700,000 by the year 2040. By the way, men are the ones who get prostate cancer. So we're talking about men here. 85% increase in deaths. And the cases are going to double worldwide. It goes on. At a meeting of urologists in Paris, the commission said that acceleration is already underway in high-income countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom, but will gain momentum in low and medium-income countries. So no matter where you are, it's coming. But if you are in the U.S. and Canada, so I'm going to put both of them in there, and the United Kingdom, it's already here. We continue. Nick James, MD, lead author of the Lancet report and professor of prostate and bladder cancer research at the Institute of Cancer Research in London, said the surge in part is a medical success story. I don't know why it's a medical success story. I guess it's just finding the surges. Prostate cancer is a problem baked into the biology. Men get prostate cancer as they age. So think about that. Men get prostate cancer as they age. There is a big rise in high-income countries, but we're going to see a big rise in the number of 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and 70-year-olds in the coming decades in the poor countries. So basically, prostate cancer used to be something that was seen in older men, right? Like my grandfather was 82. He did have prostate problems that he did not take care of, which is why he died from prostate cancer. And my father was, I believe, 70 something. He's 85 now, so I believe he was in his mid 70s when he had this enlarged prostate. So he took care of it at that time, right? But most of us, we don't. But it's an older thing. It used to be an older thing. Now it's 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and 7-year-olds. More and more and more, specifically in the UK and the US and Canada, are increasing. And according to the report, prostate cancer is really big in the African men of African descent. So black men age 45 to 70 have a very, 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 very high incidence of getting prostate cancer. And I think that comes down to a few things. Number one, we are the unhealthiest ever. Not black men, but if it's everybody in the world is the unhealthy, in North America specifically, I'm just going to talk about North America. You know, obesity is the most in the world. It's the unhealthiest country in the world, pretty much. U.S., unhealthiest country in the world. Not even a question. Canada, right there. In the cleanup position. So black men generally are not that healthy. In general, specifically in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And so that doesn't surprise me, but it is as prevalent in black men, but it's prevalent in all men. So all of that information to me was, oh man, I got to get this checked. So I set up an appointment with my doctor, and I said, I need to get my PSA checked. He's like, why do you need to get your PSA checked? It's like, well, because I'm 55 years old, and I need to get it checked. That's why. And so he's like, all right, well, and then I also said I have it in my family, right? They're my grandfather, my father. So we need to get this checked. He's like, okay, cool. And I also say I pee at night. Anyway, so I got it checked, and then as you can see, I posted my results in the Brotherhood, and they were normal. It's like 1.2. So that was great for me. That was exciting to know that I'm not. It is probably a lot of water, and maybe there's something going on with my bladder that I will be getting checked out in the next few days. But it was something that I needed to get checked, and we all need to get checked, because prostate cancer is that type of cancer that occurs in the prostate gland, and the prostate gland is like a small walnut, right? And it's a walnut-shaped gland in men that produces sperm, seminal fluid, semen. Right, that's why men get prostate cancer, right? So it's important that we get that checked, because early stages of prostate cancer generally don't have symptoms, right? So that's why this is one of those things that flies under the radar, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, I got cancer. How did this happen, right? How come I didn't see this? Because although I used my peeing and some other things, to spark me getting this checked, as well as we need to get checked. PSA, testosterone, everything. We need that all to get checked. Early stages don't have a lot of symptoms. And then advanced prostate cancer can cause a lot of difficulty. And the symptoms that you will see in advanced prostate cancer, because remember, I'm not even just talking about enlarged prostate or prostate issues. I'm talking about prostate cancer. So you could be sitting there with prostate cancer right now if you have not got checked. But the advanced prostate cancer, like if you find that you have a hard time urinating, or you have difficulty urinating, or there's blood in your urine, or you have discomfort in your pelvis, or you have bone pain, a lot of bone pain, those are symptoms of prostate cancer. And a lot of times, again, like, oh, I got bone pain. Maybe it's because of the workout, or maybe it's because I have osteoporosis. But in general, this is why it's so important to get all of our blood work checked 2 to 3 times a year, right? Our hormones, our colon, our PSA, and I got to get this checked. Like, just because I got it checked now doesn't mean I'm not going to get it checked again next year and the next year. The good news is we are healthy, right? We eat healthy. We work out. We do the things that you're supposed to do to help thwart prostate cancer. But, again, there's some factors that happen, right? Risk factors of getting prostate cancer, if you're over 50. But, again, it's starting to come to men who are in their 40s. If you've had a family history of prostate cancer, if you are African descent, African American, African Caribbean, African, that's the high probability. And if you eat a lot of dairy in your diet, a lot of dairy, which is why, I mean, the milk thing is prolactin, but this is another reason why, you want to stay away from adding milk all the time. Like, we have some cheeses that we have, because dairy is good. I mean, we have not milk dairy, but dairy is very, very good. But too much dairy, right? And that's where, when you're starting to add milk to everything, that's that added dairy that we don't need, right? The prolactin kills our testosterone, because prolactin converts to estrogen kills your testosterone, etc. And so, a lot of high diets in that will give you that. So anybody over the age of 50 should get this done, should get a PSA done. So what is a PSA? Because if you look, let me ask you a question. Let me go through this first. What is a PSA, right? PSA is a protein produced by cells, right? Both normal cells and malignant cells of the prostate gland. And PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen, and it measures the level of protein in your blood. And it's a very important tool for early detection of prostate issues, including prostate cancer. So it's not just prostate cancer, it's prostate issues. And so that's why this first test, right? That's the first thing you do. Right, and it's a very easy test to get. In fact, you can get the test today. You can order the test today. If you go to our Alpha test kit, I put the link in the. Let me just put this link in our. The link is also in our website. Alpha Zone test kit. This is US at the moment, but you get a discount, and this has everything. It's got total testosterone, it's got your estradiol, it's got your cortisol, it's got your sex hormone binding globulin, which is important. It's got your total prostate specific antigen, so PSA, and your free testosterone. So it's got all your testosterone tests, your estradiol and cortisol, very important hormones. SHBG is important too. So that test is super, super important. Or you can just go to your doctor. Right, you can go to your doctor and order that test, get that test done. And I went to Life Labs right up the street from me and got it done in one day. The very next day, my doctor was on the phone with me going over the blood results, which was normal. As I mentioned before, the early detection can be reversed, right? Because this is the time where it's most treatable, right? And that's why regular screening literally saves lives. Right? It literally saves lives. So let's understand what the PSA levels mean, because there are levels, right? So let's talk about the levels. So you're going to get your PSA screening done, and then you're going to get a report back. And your report is either going to say most likely normal, slightly elevated, moderately elevated, which means potentially indicative of benign prostate conditions or early stage cancer, or it's going to be high, which means you most likely have cancer. So these are the four kind of elements, the four screenings, the scales. So the first scale is from 0 to 2.5 nanograms per milliliter. That's normal, right? So mine was 1.2. So that's normal, but 1.2 to me still, all right. So we got to get that checked. We got to keep eating healthy, which I'm going to talk about in a second. The next is 2.6 to 4.0, which is slightly elevated. Next up is 4.0 to 10. So it's a very big scale, but if you're in that scale, whether it's 4.2 or 9.9, it's pretty indicative of prostate conditions or early stage cancer. So this is probably where we can do something about it, right? And again, I'm not a prostate cancer specialist. I'm learning a lot now. In fact, because I'm doing this whole program, and I got this amazing book by Ben Ong. He's I got to do my research if I'm creating a program, right? I got to do my research, even though Clark's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this 90-day program. I got to do my research. I got to make sure I got my P's and Q's and my T's and I's and all of those things dotted and crossed. And anything above 10 nanograms per milliliter, you pretty much have prostate cancer. Like, we're there. And so now's the time to get tested, and those are the things you want to look for. And again, like not panicking at any of those moments are key. Early detection is important because there are ways to get successful treatment. Continue to monitor, like you guys, I applaud you guys for doing that. Eyes crossed, yeah. I have my eyes crossed too, and my T's dotted with a heart. Monitoring those is great. I'm glad you guys do that. I haven't been doing that on an ongoing basis, so yeah. So yours was 3.9. Not sure what your doctor told you, but just continue to get that. Oh, yours was 0.39. Yeah, so you are good. 0 is where you want to be at, but 0.39 as well. Anything under 2.5. Anyways, so monitoring is good. I have to commend all of you guys who get it done on a regular basis. That's going to be part of my regular thing now. And, a lot of things happen with getting tested, right? You get a peace of mind. Like that gave me a peace of mind. Like, was I, a little bit, was I happy-go-lucky funk for 2 days? No, I wasn't. My wife's like, what's going on with you? And Angela's like, what's happening to you? How come you're not so happy and go lucky? I'm like, at first I said, no, I'm okay. And then like a half hour later, I just said, it's probably because I said, no, it's not probably. It is because, I like to communicate with Angela. I like to communicate with my wife. She noticed that I wasn't the same. Like, what's going on here? Because there's a smile on your face 24/7. You're laughing 20 of the 24 hours of the day, or 16 of the 24 hours a day. You got a smile on your face. You're laughing. You're making me feel good. But you've been quiet. You've been, kind of like, ooh, what's happening? And for me, it was, at first I'm like, oh, I'm okay. But then I said, no, it's this, it's on my mind, right? Like family history, I'm peeing, like I need that peace of mind. And so it did bother me until I got that call from the doctor. And in fact, it wasn't even the doctor that called. It was actually the nurse or something. I guess the nurse called and said, the doctor wants to talk to you about your results. As soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, here we go. And he says, but don't worry, it's all good. And I'm like, yes, it's all good. He just wants to go over the blood and the blood work. I had other stuff done, which was all good. And then I'm getting my testosterone levels done as well. And then also preventative health, right? Like regular testing can help you monitor your prostate health and catch changes early. So if things start to change, we can catch it and we can change things. So, I encourage all of you guys to incorporate, the testing in, and then also incorporate these foods into your diet regularly. So let's dive into the 7 foods that you should always be eating right now, specifically, because of, what I talked about before, right? It's on the rise. Prostate cancer is on the rise. The tsunami is coming. Right. And this was actually, this came out of this meeting that happened, right? There was a urologist meeting that happened, in the United Kingdom. And that came out of that meeting. And so, here are some of the foods that you want to include in your nutrition, in the alpha meal, your alpha meals on a daily and weekly basis if possible. So number 1 is tomatoes. So I'm allergic to tomatoes. So I not saying that, like, what happens to me when I eat tomatoes is I'll eat tomatoes, then 6 hours later I'll have snot coming out of my nose, I'll be bloated, because when I did my allergy test many years ago, tomatoes came up. But I used to eat tomatoes all the time. Like, I ate tomatoes like they were an apple. I love tomatoes. But tomatoes have what's called lycopene. And lycopene is an antioxidant that helps to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation. And there's studies that show that higher intake of lycopene is associated with a lower risk of prostate cancer. And the best ways to actually eat tomatoes are cooked. So cooking your tomatoes, maybe making a tomato sauce, but like not buying tomato sauce, like making your own tomato sauce is really good, because cooking increases the bioavailability of lycopene. So tomatoes cooked is your best bet. So, like if you have, egg whites in the morning, right? Chop up some tomatoes and add the tomatoes to your egg whites in the morning, right? Or fry up some tomatoes with your meal. Okay. Number 2, so tomatoes, number 1, cooked tomatoes are the best, but tomatoes in general, but cooked tomatoes is what's going to get the bioavailability at a higher rate. Number 2 is broccoli. So broccoli has sulforaphane, and sulforaphane is something that's found in a lot of cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. They all contain sulforaphane, and it's shown that this also helps to reduce the risk of cancer because it promotes detoxification of all the carcinogens that are in our body, and also all of the cells that they protect the cells from any damage to our DNA. So cruciferous vegetables in general, but broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale would be key. So I'm actually been adding kale back into my I don't like raw kale, so I'll warm up the kale, and I gotta bring broccoli back. But broccoli is another one of those foods that I'm allergic to, right? I get the same thing that happens. I get the bloating, and I get the mucus. But there's other ways we can get that in. So broccoli or any cruciferous vegetables. Number 3 is green tea. So green tea has catechins, and green tea is rich in catechins, which are it's a strong antioxidant property that is shown to inhibit the growth of cancer cells and reduce the risk of prostate cancer. So green tea. So if you are a regular green tea drinker, or you want to add that to your day, right? Maybe instead of the coffee in the morning, you have green tea, right? Because in the morning when you wake up, you're having water and electrolytes, right? Everyone does that, correct? You have water and you add a scoop of electrolytes, or you add some Himalayan salt to your water in the morning, right? And then you shake it up and you down it, and then you feel all of the energy. That is happening, correct? I'm hoping every single person here does that. So that means that you don't really need that coffee in the morning. So instead of having that coffee in the morning, you can have the green tea instead, right? And maybe save the coffee for maybe mid-morning or something, if you are a coffee drinker. Because coffee is not bad. It's just too much coffee and also too much coffee later in the day is going to affect your sleep. So green tea. Number 4 is pomegranates. So pomegranates have polyphenols. So pomegranate juice or pomegranates contain high levels of antioxidants called polyphenols. And this antioxidant has anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. So there actually has been studies that suggest that pomegranate juice can slow down the progression of prostate cancer, as well as pomegranate juice also helps with increasing your testosterone levels. So again, pomegranate juice, you just have to be very aware and weary of the pomegranate juice that you buy, right? Make sure that it's not like filled with sugar and crap. But pomegranate juice is good on both levels. Number 5 is fish. So fish have omega-3 fatty acids. So right off the bat, I know that all of you guys are supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids, right? Like that is happening, correct? Yeah, that's happening. And if it's not, then go to the Funk Supplements site, use Alpha 15 and order omega-3s, because that's like, should be a no-brainer. That's another one of those supplements that are like, oh yeah, of course I have omega-3s. And if you already are supplementing with it, awesome. That's amazing. Because along with supplementing with omega-3s, you're going to get omega-3 fatty acids found in fish, right? So that's why this is the foods that are going to help. So of course you still want to supplement, because there is quite a imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3s in for us. We have way more omega-6s and omega-3s, and that is causing issues, so we've got to flip the script. But also getting it from wild-caught salmon, mackerel, sardines, and funny enough, all 3 of those also help with testosterone production as well. So they all have anti-inflammatory properties, and when you consume omega-3s regularly on a daily basis, it's going to reduce the risk of prostate cancer and improve your overall prostate health. Which is why it's like, that's one of my non-negotiable supplements for men over 40. I have a whole bunch of them. That is one. Like every single one of us need to be supplementing with omega-3s. That should be on your, and if you're not doing it right now, like this weekend, either order it from Funk Supplements or go buy it. Again, you want good, high quality, because you don't want the ones that are gross. Number 6 is nuts and seeds. So specific nuts and seeds, because nuts and seeds have selenium and zinc. Funny enough, once again, what does selenium and zinc do? Well, not only do selenium and zinc help to reduce the risk of prostate cancer, because both of them, selenium reduces the risk of prostate cancer and the zinc is essential for normal prostate function, but both of those also help to increase testosterone, right? Selenium and zinc. Zinc specifically, and most guys are deficient in zinc. But what are the best nuts and seeds? Well, Brazil nuts, number one. That's why I have that in like the Power 30 testosterone foods, right? You guys have read that, Power 30 testosterone foods? You've read that for sure, right? It's in the Phase 1 Nutrition. You can download it. It's Power 30 testosterone boosting foods that we should all have in our pantries, our fridges, and our freezers. So Brazil nuts are one. Brazil nuts are beautiful in your morning. If you guys have like my, you know how I have my steel cut oats in the morning, or my cream of wheat in the morning, right? My little bowl, my breakfast bowl. Well, the healthy fats that I use in that breakfast bowl are Brazil nuts. Like more and more now, because they're high in selenium. And then pumpkin seeds are also good. So you could literally have a 1-2 punch in your morning breakfast. You could throw Brazil nuts and pumpkin seeds. And it's so funny because I saw pumpkin seeds in the back of our cupboard the other day. So I'm going to pull that out. Pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts. Pumpkin seeds are also good to throw in your smoothie as well. But both of these minerals are crucial for maintaining prostate health. Crucial. And then finally, berries, right? Antioxidants. Because berries like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, they're all rich in antioxidants. And this is going to help protect cells from oxidative damage. Of course, will also help preventing the development of cancer. So once again, like, you know, you see a lot of times in my morning breakfast has, like, man, I just, you know, just reading through this, it's like the prostate testosterone, you know, boosting optimal breakfast, right? Like you've got, what do we have in there? We've got cream of wheat or steel cut oats, your choice. You cook that up, you take it out of the microwave, and then I throw in 1.5 scoops of protein powder, of my grass-fed protein powder. I put 1.5. I like to get a lot of protein in the morning, right? Higher amount of protein in the morning. So I throw that in there, a scoop and a half, sometimes 2, but don't tell anybody. And then what else do we add? Well, we have the banana in there, right? Good potassium, also great for testosterone. And don't believe the hype of bananas being unhealthy. That's an insane thing to say. And then I throw in Brazil nuts, right? And all the berries. Like every day I have, you can see it. There's a ton of berry. And I'm now going to add pumpkin seeds in there. And it's going to be such a rich, prostate fighting, testosterone boosting morning, you know, with my greens and the supplements, right? It sets the day off perfectly. Because that's what we want to do, right? We want to set our day off with a win. And so those are the foods you want to ensure that you are implementing into your alpha meals. Getting tomatoes. You don't have to eat them every day, but hey, man, like we're at the stage now where we want to optimize, right? If we're not eating healthy to begin with, we've just got to start eating healthy, and you might as well start adding these right away. But if we have been eating really well, staying on the alpha meal, the Meditest Boost Nutrition System, staying very consistent, now's the time to optimize. Am I eating enough tomatoes? Oh, I'm not. So I'm going to eat more tomatoes. I'm going to fry up more tomatoes. Do I have broccoli or sprouts or kale? Am I getting, remember I always say eat 1 salad a day. Because salads have cruciferous vegetables in there, right? 1 salad a day. And then your other meal can be other vegetables. Maybe you're going to steam up broccoli. You know, steam broccoli, steam up some broccoli and other vegetables for dinner, and you know, have a salad with your meal for lunch, or vice versa, right? Green tea. So make sure you're having green tea. Add that to the mix on a daily basis. You know, take a coffee out, put in your green tea, because when you have those electrolytes in the morning, you don't need any coffee. Your energy is going to be through the roof, and if you add Alpha Max Test 3D, you know your energy is going to be through the roof right from the get-go. So there's no coffee needed. But then maybe mid-morning when you probably have another coffee, oh, you know what? Let me have a green tea instead. And then You know, maybe a little bit later, if you want to have that coffee, maybe you will, but soon enough you may not need to. Not saying that you shouldn't drink coffee, because coffee is good, but you know, you may want to replace one of those coffees with a green tea, right? Pomegranate, right? Look for a very healthy pomegranate. I can't tell you what a healthy pomegranate juice looks like because I don't drink juice, because it's filled with sugar and shit. So, but pomegranate juice is healthy. I mean, pomegranate juice is good. You just got to find a good, healthy pomegranate juice. Like, you're not going to buy it from the can, right? Like, you're going to go to a special organic place and get a good pomegranate juice, because you don't want to negate the antioxidants and the polyphenols that are found in a very high quality pomegranate juice that's not filled with other shit, right? And fish, right? Like, if you don't like fish, you don't like sardines, or you don't like mackerel, or you don't like salmon, or you know it's expensive to have salmon or what have you, then even if you do, omega-3s, that's like that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. I always go to my mom, right? It's like, if my mother, who's 82, 83, is you know, she's omega-3s, NMNs, freaking multivitamins, everything. Vitamin D3, apple cider vinegar. I don't know if you've seen my mother, but she does not look like she's 82. She looks like she's like 60-something. It's incredible. But yeah, omega-3s, and then like selenium and zinc, right? From nuts, right? So getting that Brazil nuts, go out and buy some Brazil nuts. You don't need a lot of Brazil nuts because they're huge. So you're not like, you know, the packets are usually smaller and they're a little bit more expensive, but you don't need a lot, right? One pack could last you a whole week for sure. Or add those pumpkin seeds in there as well. And if you don't have zinc, Alpha Max Test 3D has zinc, but you can also supplement with zinc as well. And then berries. Of course, this is a no-brainer. Your berries should be either in your smoothies or in your morning breakfast if you do have some type of, morning breakfast, like steel-cut oats, right? Add those berries in there. I also have berries for my dessert, right? So I'll have some berries for my dessert. I go to a good, nice little store over here that's got like fresh berries, and that's where I get them. So, with that being said, cool, man. All right,